Good afternoon, everybody. This is Gary Dickson again. Welcome to my fourth Facebook Live event. The first one was just all about me and answering questions. And then the next ones, I introduced the members of our team. And I want to emphasize that we're running as a team. So the first one, which was the second event, was with Brendan Najum. And then the last one that we had was with the two candidates for the 4-year council position. That was Jeff Pekarik and Sue Kims. And then this one is with our candidate for the highway, Brian Adams. And I suspect this one might be the most interesting because everybody's very interested in what goes on with their roads. Everyone has, that you can reach out and touch your road, and everyone's got an opinion about their roads. Why don't we let Brian introduce himself, and then as I've been going around in the town, a lot of people have expressed concerns about various issues, questions, so then we can get to some of those. And if you have any questions, please, during this Facebook Live event, please feel free to put them in the comments section, and we'll try to answer them too. Take it away, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is Brian Adams. I'm a graduate of West Seneca West, born and raised here. Currently working at the highway department now. I've been there for over 10 years. I have a wife, 2 kids. They are also in the West Seneca School District. And like I said, I've been with the department for over 10 years. I've been in all aspects of the department: buildings and grounds, sanitation, and highway. I also have a background in business. I've been involved with family business for right out of high school. Most recently, I've been involved with the old Orchard Park Road storage, the old Best Dodge. We recreated that, redeveloped it, and then marketed it and sold to U-Haul now. I then branched out on my own as a consultant and a general manager for a few other storage facilities, which we've kind of turned around and made profitable. So I have a good balance of both private sector and public sector work. I've seen a lot of things and inefficiencies within my own department, which really made me want to run for highway superintendent. There's a lot of things that I can change as far as safety issues within our department and efficiency issues with our work orders and how we operate.
Mm-hmm. So when I'm going around, a lot of the things people ask about is why hasn't my road been paved? It's been a few years. They paved my neighbor's street. Why haven't you paved mine? What are the things the factors that come into play on that?
Well, the factors of a lot of things is money. As far as what we have set aside in a budget and what we get money for from our CHIPS program and Pave New York through the DOT, we have enough money, depending on the length of the roads, the depth, the width, to do between 3 and 5 miles to resurface each year. We have a lot of equipment that goes unutilized within the department. We have our own paver. We tend to outsource that cost sometimes. I would like to be able to use that equipment to help pave, and maybe instead of doing 3 or 5 miles, we can do 6 or 7. We can get another street done if we save costs by not outsourcing.
Mm-hmm. And then how many miles do we have in this streets?
Roughly 110 that we maintain.
Right.
Between county and stuff like that.
Right. So if we're only able to do, let's say, 5 miles, then that's theoretically that would be
sure
20 years.
It'll take a long time to get every street done. What I plan to do is go through each street and rate them from worst to best, and slowly configure which ones need to be paved first, and I would like to knock those off the list. And even the ones that we can't get to right away, like I said, I'd like to use the equipment that we have. We can mill sections of streets that are problematic, that have 3, 4, 5 layers of patches on it. I'm sure everyone has seen those before, and they're saying, "Oh, they're back paving or they're back patching our roads again. Why don't they just pave the whole thing?" We can't because of money issues. But if we were to grind those streets down and use our paver to do small sections of those streets, then we can make them flush again. So we're not going to be there year after year, patching those same areas.
Mm-hmm. And my goal would be that that they have enough money so that they can be put, they can put the entire town on, let's say, a 15-year rotation, or even a 12-year rotation, so they could get to all the streets fairly often. The budgets do not normally give very much money from tax dollars to paving. It's mostly grants, right,
Yes.
from the state.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the money that is set aside for paving is also for patching. It's not just
Right.
to pave,
Right.
full streets. That costs anywhere just in material alone, $30, $40, $50,000 and up.
Yeah, and I think the more that our guys can do as opposed to contractors,
Absolutely.
it's kind of a win-win. It's good for our guys, and it's good, we save money for the town. Are there any other new technologies out there for the streets that could save money?
Besides, patching and stuff properly, there are a bunch of different techniques and stuff that can be used besides, just hot asphalt mixers, Nova chips. There's different things that products that can be used, but, for our area and where we are, we definitely just use a hot and cold mix to patch potholes and repave.
But Brian's a young guy. We are completely open to anything that's new. I mean, to new
Absolutely.
techniques, something that will save us money. It's all about improving efficiencies.
Yes.
So one of the questions that I had when I was out going door to door from a woman was about street cleaning. She said, the streets used to be. It seemed to her that a street sweeper used to come through more often, and it doesn't now. What about that?
So the street sweepers are on a multi-use schedule. They're used to pick up leaves in the fall, and then in the springtime and stuff after winter they do sweep the streets. There is a bit of a time period where they do change parts over and a little bit of downtime. There's a lot of moving parts on these vehicles, so that does take a little bit of time to get out and get moving. But once they are out, they do their best to get through every street as possible. We also use those street sweepers when we pave streets and when we mill. They're there, time after time, trying to keep those clean, to keep a fresh surface or a clean surface for when we're about to put the hot blacktop down. So between everything that's going on, they do get out. We had 3 at one point. We are down to 2. One is used for parts. I would love to be able to purchase another one, or at least temporarily lease one for the spring, so that we can keep up with the demand of keeping those streets clean. I think it's very critical that we do that, as far as rocks, debris, and everything else going into our drainage systems that could cause backups.
Right. Right.
A little bit more into that as well. We used to always go around and flush lines and suck out the drainage intakes. And I would love to be able to, bring that service back where we're maintaining and keeping up with the scheduled process like that.
Yeah, we want to, we recognize that taxes are high. And if taxes are going to be high, at least we should have good services. I mean, we do have good services. Sanitation is great, but over the years, there are some things that have been kind of turned over to the residents, like trees, for example. Is there any hope in that, of having the town do trees?
I think it's also crucial that the town maintains the trees. Every year taxes go up, and slowly they're putting services that we normally do back on the homeowners. Any tree now that is in that right of way, they're trying to say, well, it's the homeowner's responsibility just because of budget cuts. We want to save money here and there. And you can't justify raising taxes every year and taking services away. We have a bucket truck that is slowly getting back in service. We have guys on a tree crew that, as long as we maintain our equipment and keep these guys out there and keeping up with the trees, it's definitely something that we can take back over and do, and that we should do.
Yeah, I mean, our workers deserve equipment that is safe and that helps them do their job quickly. I mean, if for example, they're shoveling snow by hand, that's not efficient. If we could spend a little bit of money and get a snowblower, and then only one guy can do it, and he can do it in probably a third or a fourth of the time
Sure.
a crew could do it, then that makes a heck of a lot of sense.
Yes.
Another question somebody had was about the damage that plows do to, especially their aprons of their driveways. And this particular gentleman said that he was told there wasn't any money left to fix his apron. I mean, how's that work?
I don't think that's an acceptable answer to give a taxpayer. If we are accountable for something that we have done, whether it's with a snowplow or anything, we should be responsible to fix that, and that's something that I would do. One of the things that I preach most is accountability, dependability, and accessibility. If we damage something, we're accountable for it. We're going to fix it. And that's just not acceptable. We have guys that can fix concrete aprons, blacktop aprons, and we can then take preventative steps so that doesn't happen again. Whether we put another plow marker right in front of their driveway so we know that maybe that apron sticks out just a little bit more than the rest. But I can assure you that it's not something that is done on purpose. We're out in all types of weather and everything, and when we're plowing and we're moving a lot of snow, sometimes the trucks drift a little bit, and like I said, if the apron sticks out a little bit more than your neighbors, it might get clipped a little. But we should fix that, and I will fix that.
Yeah, one of the cool things about having a complete slate and running as a team is that when a resident tells me something that's an issue of the a highway department, I just call up Brian, and then Brian will go over and talk to him about it. And the same thing if he's done it. If he has issues that are more of the general town issue, he'll call me up and I'll go over there and I'll talk to the resident. It's really, and then of course we have our council members. They're out also, and it's really good. We really get along well together, and we got a good team.
And it's all about working together. Everyone brings something different to the table, and it's about balance. And like you said, I can call you, you can call me, and we can hopefully solve everybody's issues, or at least take action to where we can, find a solution for it.
Yeah. What other issues are there in highway? Well, one thing is that most residents may not know it, but the highway superintendent has a whole separate set of laws that govern him, and he's actually very independent of the town board. The town board controls the money, but by New York law, the town board can't tell him what to do. It's as far as the highway goes. So the control, the operations, the daily operations of the highway department are completely under the control of the highway superintendent, and that's by law.
Yeah. And what I want to do and what I really want to focus on within the department is safety. I think besides efficiency, safety is right on par, one of the top things within the department. Like I said, we have a lot of equipment, a lot of heavy equipment, a lot of trucks, a lot of moving parts. We respond to situations, 24/7, and we need to be safe. We need to keep the roads safe for residents, and the employees themselves need to be safe. I would love to bring different training people in to, at least properly train all of our guys on our heavy equipment. Right. So I want everyone to feel comfortable. I want universal training for flagging and regular hand signals, so everyone's on the same page and we can all work together and make a safer work environment.
Right. So we have a question from Facebook?
We do have a question from Patty. She's wondering if French Road can be upgraded for the amount of traffic, to handle the amount of traffic.
French Road.
I don't know.
That's Old French Road. Because that's only half of that is.
That's a good question for Patty.
So, French Road, that would be Cheektowaga. But maybe.
There we go. Any other?
I can work with all highway superintendents.
Right. Yeah, and it's got to be it's an issue when half the road belongs to one town or half the other or whatever. I mean, I'm not saying it's French Road, but yeah, it's a very kind of dynamic almost environment. We've got county roads, we've got state roads. I mean, I live on Union Road, and it's a state road.
Mm-hmm.
So I could call the highway department all day about a pothole, and it's not going to help. Although I do call them about the deer, and they do come and get them that are regularly killed crossing the street.
That's our wonderful animal control.
Yeah.
We do have a question from Mike as well. He's curious as to the conditions of the animal shelter. He said, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they work with a small portion of the budget?
Yeah, so as highway superintendent, they also take the roles of animal control officer. One of the things I vowed to do was give up that stipend, to give back. That job is done by highway workers, and I don't think that it's necessary for a highway superintendent to be stipend with that money. We are in the process now of doing some renovations with the animal control facility, and I think we should build onto that as well. I would love to rework our relationship with the SPCA. I've already had conversations with the CEO there, and I really want to take strides to rekindling that partnership. I think it's beneficial for us as a department to work with the SPCA that has a brand new facility right in our backyard. They offer a lot of different techniques and training and different advantages that we can really benefit from.
So, although not strictly speaking part of the highway department, you are also responsible for sanitation.
Correct.
And so, how does that work? How many routes? How many?
So generally, there's 5 garbage routes. There is a 6 route system depending on when our trucks, are at full capacity, and depending on how heavy the garbage is. So I do oversee sanitation. The full-time lifters, part-time lifters, they have their own crew chief as well that really does the day-to-day with them.
Laura asked a question, why can't the highway department be open one night a week for the person that works till 5 or later?
As far
Good
as
question.
to drop off stuff, or what do you need from at 5 o'clock? So everything.
Laura's got to follow up with that.
Laura's got to
Okay,
follow up on
follow
that
up,
first.
but so everything.
I don't have the answer.
Well, she's online, so she
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
All of our stuff is contractual within our agreement with the union, and those are the set hours that are agreed between the town board and the union. So those are the hours they work.
But I'm completely open to working on that. At the next union negotiation, we can talk about ways we can be a little bit more flexible or save money or things like that. There are some other, there's some administrative people there. We could probably do something, but if there's any way, if you want to follow up on Facebook
Sure,
while we're still
yeah.
on about if specific thing that you need, because of course you can always call them up.
Patty also had a comment here that said the lack of maintenance will degrade the current drains, etc. That's bad for the future. No.
The lack of maintenance on as far as street cleaning.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Any proactive steps that we can take to flush these lines and to clean our drainage intakes will definitely help in the long run. And we need to get on a scheduled system where we're maintaining them properly.
Laura did follow up, by the way.
Okay.
She said for dropping items off, TV, or even a Saturday morning, something along those lines.
Sure.
So that's what she was
Okay.
referring to.
Yeah, and like I said, our hours are set within the contract, and that's something that I'm sure you can open up in negotiations, or we can try and work on whether even if it's a weekend in the morning. When sanitation does work those holidays, they are there Saturdays, so that's something that could be done. I know you're probably not going to wait for a holiday to drop off a TV or any garbage, but that's something that can definitely be worked on.
Yeah, or maybe somebody can stay a little later or something like that. I think I would recommend you call, and then we'll see what we can do. I mean, I completely agree that just because your hours are limited, then you should be able to get the same service that anybody else who can show up, at the regular hours.
And I would like to even maybe go one step further on that. It's, everything's not going to happen overnight, but I think we can maybe take steps in that direction where we can offer the service where we pick up the TVs again, have a separate truck for that. I know some people say they don't mind bringing TVs to the highway department. I look at it more as it could potentially be a liability. We have, multiple people coming in daily to drop off TVs, male, female, old, young, and a lot of people can't physically bring TVs in. And that's one more thing that, with the amount of workforce we have, we can definitely take strides in that direction to try and implement a plan to pick up TVs, and it's always things that we can be proactive and work on in the future and work together with.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea, and that would definitely be something we should look at. Yeah.
I have a question. This
Okay.
comes from Joe, resident, 54 years of West Seneca. Brian, what goes on with the sidewalks now? Recently they went around, and I know certain people's sidewalks had to be either maintained or corrected. And example is somebody in the neighborhood had a lot, like he's on a bend, and he probably had, I'm exaggerating, but 10 squares.
Yeah.
And I know, but they did mine, and I gotta admit, I think the highway was dug, and he did an exceptional job just being courteous, explaining it. I think that's very important, but I don't know what the plan is. They gave me a break on paying it through taxes for the next couple years.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if it gets explained properly, people understand it.
That's another service actually that the highway department many years ago used to do. We used to replace sidewalks, and that's another thing that we're put back onto the taxpayers. And unfortunately, it's we have high taxes, and like I said, every year I feel that to try and save money, we're slowly taking services away, and it's not justifiable. The reason for that was cuts, just like anything, a money issue. But like I said, if we can slowly get things moving in the right direction, there may be more money there that we can replace that. At least the problematic pieces or sections of sidewalk that are heaved up very high. But it became a big issue as far as there's so many needed to be replacing because of trees, because of other issues, and it just got too costly for the town, and they decided to put that on homeowners. Unfortunately,
And believe me, I have heard many people say that when I first started walking, like on Covington and Tudor and Tampa, but other places in the town too. People are, they're justifiably, upset. I understand. They say, well, the town planted the tree. It's the town's tree, the town's roots. It's it's uplifting our sidewalk. Why do I have to fix it? But yet I can't cut the tree down. So
you would have to still write into the highway superintendent.
Yeah.
The tree would have to be either diseased, dying, or there has to be a sewer problem. And like I said, when we were at full capacity with our tree truck and we were taking trees down, we would take trees down that were causing sewer issues. If you prove to us that you had a plumber out there and that was the issue, was because of tree roots, we would take that tree down. We would stump grind it and it would be done. Now they're going one step further and saying, well, it's getting too costly for us to do that, for us to maintain our stuff, so now you have to do it. And I don't think that's acceptable. Like I said, it comes accountability, dependability, and accessibility. If it's something that we planted or that we were responsible for, whether it was 30, 40 years ago, we should still take care of it. I want people to depend on us for services, when it snows, that we're going to be out there to plow. If there's an issue with their trees or their sidewalks or their apron, that we're going to show up and take care of that. And I want people to feel that they can, gain access to information, or if they have an issue, they can call, and that I'm going to return their calls, and I'm going to be there to try and find the best solution for them.
And we definitely hear your concerns, and we want to find a solution to that. It is a money issue, so we have to weigh the cost versus the support versus the benefits. If there's a way we can find more, we can get some time for our people to do it, so that it's it's a lot cheaper if we're doing it as opposed to a contractor, then we will. But it's issues like this are ones that we want to spend. When I'm in office, we want to think about and see what can we do to help the homeowners without increasing taxes.
Absolutely.
One of the other things too is it's come up many times is the efficiencies. You hear a lot of people out saying that, with high taxes you're going to see it right away. I never noticed it, but it seems are the workers as efficient as they should be for the taxes they're paying?
That's another thing too. There's always room for improvement in all departments, and I see it. Like I said, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to run for this position, because I see inefficiencies, and with my background in business and stuff like that, I look for ways to cut those inefficiencies. I also want to establish a line of communication with our workers, because those guys are the ones that are out in the field every day with the equipment, with the trucks, with whatever, and they have really good ideas. And those guys, I want to feel comfortable to come to me and say, hey, we can do things this way, and we should do it this way. And I will take, full steps to look at all possibilities to be the most efficient. But I want to make sure that line of communication's there. But like I said, there's always room for improvement, and that's what I'm tending to do is I want to make those improvements.
Because one of my top priorities is looking after the taxpayer. For me, the interest of the taxpayer is first. There are ways that we can keep, even improve the services that we have without costing the taxpayer more money.
100%.
And efficiencies are a prime example of that. So we're going to work very hard and think about that very hard and talk to the unions, because as Brian said, the unions are the guys on the ground. They're the workers are the ones that know what's going on. They have no desire to sit around and feel like they're not being utilized. So I think we can once we get in office, I think we can work on this and try to improve our services without increasing taxes.
Sure, and just to touch base on that as well, the guys want to feel relevant. They want to feel important, because it makes for a better workplace as well. And there's that satisfaction that when you go into work and you make recommendations, and the boss takes those recommendations, and you get that satisfaction that when you go home you did a good job and it worked out well. You want to go back to work the next day and keep improving on that. And like I said, our workforce is amazing. Our community is amazing, and we have a lot to offer. We have a lot that we can do, that we should be doing, and that we can get back to doing.
And Brian will be able to, he can rest assured that he'll have the 100% support of the supervisor, if I'm the supervisor, in the stuff that he has to do, that he wants to do. And I completely agree with you. The workers want to feel wanted, they want to feel relevant, they want to feel like they've done a good job.
Absolutely.
Most of the workers, just to compliment, are very complimentary, very courteous. To me, at least all the years I've been here, so it's a good representation.
We pride ourselves in the
people.
service that we do. We offer exceptional services. Out of any other town around, we have the best services, and we want to improve on those and build on that.
How are we doing on time?
Oh, well, we got about 2 minutes, and we do have a question.
Okay.
Are you for or against GPS units on town vehicles?
You know what? I think there's pros and cons to everything. I wouldn't be opposed to that, depending on cost. If it's something that you think and that we work together with, that it would keep everybody in line and it's worth the cost, absolutely. It's something that's definitely a step that we could take.
And I'm for them. And I would definitely, for example, in the winter when the plows are out, I would like if we could have it, if the public site, you could look at a map and you would see the plows and you would see the route highlighted. And so you would see, oh, okay, there's the plow and this is where it's going to be. Now this doesn't mean that we're putting GPS cars on the, like on the police cars, and you can say, oh, where's the cops? No, we're not going to do that. But I am completely for GPSs, provided we can find a way to afford them.
And I know there may have been other questions that we didn't get to, or even if people are tuning in late and they want to ask questions, you can always feel free to private message me or go on my website, adamsforhighway.com. I have contact information on there as well. And I just, like I said, I appreciate you having me, and I look forward to all the questions that people may have, or even concerns that I'd like to answer, or even if they have suggestions on how we can make improvements within the town. I'm very open to everything, and I look forward to the future.
And if you asked a question on Facebook and we didn't get to it, then we'll answer it as soon as we sign off. So that's been 30 minutes, and thank you very much for joining us, for joining me and Brian.